Hey everybody, it's your boy Fake Honda. Today, today we're staying in, I think. Today we're going to be doing something that probably a lot of people have been putting off for quite a while. I know I have. Replacing these buggers right here. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So we got some nice lo-fi music in the background. So sit back, relax, grab your tools if you want to follow along. And let's jump into it. So, like I said, I already swapped mine. This is actually the second take of this video, but that's okay. It's a learning experience. So, I'm going to walk you through the process, hopefully simplify it as much as possible. You know, this quarantine is, it's pretty bad, but, you know, sometimes you gotta just take a moment and just kind of take advantage as best you can of the situation. So today we're gonna try to take advantage a little bit and do this project. So hopefully you have all the things you need. What you're gonna need is you're gonna need a tri-wing screwdriver, the Joy-Con that you'd like to replace the joystick on, and you're gonna need a small Phillips head screwdriver. You are also going to need a replacement joystick, which you can get on Amazon for about, I got mine for, I paid like $10 for both of these. It's nice. It's I think it's the one that's labeled Amazon's Choice. I'll try to leave a link in the description. But it's kind of tough to go wrong with these. Just, you know, use your good judgment. They're not expensive. This controller by itself, just the one Joy-Con, runs about, I think about $50. This is about $5. So instead of paying $50 to buy a new controller when your Joy-Con is drifting out of control, you just pay $5 or $10 for two. Do both Joy-Cons and save some money. And it's really not that challenging to do. Really, anyone can do it. Nintendo, a lot of people don't really care for the Joy-Cons. I personally really like them, aside from the drift issue. But, I don't know, they just feel really good in the hand. They're very ergonomic. I have smaller hands. I'm sure people with bigger hands may have some difficulties, but anyways, let's jump into it. So first things first, you're gonna have you've got 4 tri-wing screws in the back here. So you want to carefully and slowly unscrew those one at a time. Now, I really want to emphasize that you be careful when you do this, because these are not like the tri-wings that you'll find on the back of a Game Boy cartridge or GameCube controller. Those are a bit more robust. You can be a little bit more aggressive with those. These are very small, and actually the joysticks that I ordered actually came with a couple replacements for the tri-wing screws. I haven't needed them yet, so I'm just keeping them off to the side for now, but you know, it never hurts to be a little extra prepared. Because you never know. You may strip one pulling it out, or you may almost strip one. You might think, yeah, I kind of want to replace that before it gets to the point where I can't take it apart anymore. So, like I said, never hurts to be a little over-prepared. So, we've got all 4 of those tri-wings out. The next step is probably the second scariest step in this process. Pulling these 2 pieces apart. As you can see, there's a seam. It goes all the way around the controller here. This will pop out relatively easily. A good deal easier than the nunchuck. That was a difficult teardown, but that's another story. I found the easiest way to get these apart. Actually, just grab by this guy right here. Just kind of go like that, just down this side. It's a lot harder if you try to go from the outside edge. Just get a fingernail in there. Should come apart relatively easily. Just kind of get a finger around the other side, maybe. There we go. like I said, it's a really well-made controller, all things considered. Just snaps together super easy, and good for Nintendo. I used to work in electronics assembly, and trust me, when I can really appreciate when something's easy to assemble quickly. They can probably pump these out at a very high rate. So anyway, essentially how this controller fits together, everything's connected via ribbon cables for these guys right here. Which is nice because it means you don't have to disconnect a ton of things, and it's also really easy to replace a lot of different things in here because ribbon cables don't solder in. They connect with connectors like this. Let's see. Just like that. That's got a little tab on it. We'll mess with one of those a little later. Actually, no, this is the left Joy-Con. We gotta take 2 of them off. But they're real easy to work with, so nothing to be afraid of. Anyways, first things first, we have this, we got the power source right here. This is going to be the first thing we have to take apart. I would advise you not to use anything metal, so don't use a flathead or anything to pry this up. This isn't glued in here or anything. What you can do is just stick a fingernail right in there, and it should come right out. Now, it is still connected to the, hang on a second, to the main board, so don't rip it out. The thing is, with these controllers, unlike working with GameCube controllers, they're very delicate, which is fine, you know, anybody can mess with these, but you do have to have a little bit of finesse when messing with them. So now we got this guy out, easy enough. As you can see right there, we had a little bit of double-sided tape just holding this guy in. So the next part is, in my opinion, probably the scariest part, because I had a bad experience fixing an old Sony speaker that I just broke. It's like $100. But the way this comes apart, as you can see right here, it's connected. This camera will focus. Hold on. That's a little better. This is going to pop right out. It is a little scary, but you can just grab it by the cables and just pull one. There it is. Easy, easy, easy. Now, we just got to be careful when we put it back in because, as you can see, it does have these 2 little holes for the teeth down there. It's going to go face down just like we popped it off. So, set that off to the side for now. So we've successfully disconnected the power. The joystick itself is right here. So we need to get underneath this guy. Now, you may be a little intimidated by all these screws under here. Fortunately, these we don't have to pull out. The right Joy-Con is a little bit more unfortunate because there's actually 3 screws you have to pull out, but it's essentially the same process. There's just maybe 1 or 2 more little extra steps that really anybody, you know, you wouldn't even hardly need any extra instruction on at all. First things first, once we have the tri-wings out, the rest of the screws on the interior of this guy are all Phillips head. And fortunately, there's only 1. Just a brief note though, the trigger, the left trigger on this controller here, just be careful that this doesn't pop out because there is a spring and it's not like bolt. Once you take this piece off, there's not going to be anything holding it in, so it may try to run away from you. May pop out, and that's not fun for anybody because the fewer pieces you have to replace, the better. So, for the left Joy-Con, fortunately, the only Phillips we have to worry about is this guy right here. So, again, nice and easy. Just slowly, patiently unscrew it. Set this guy off to the side. The nice thing is these are a different color than the tri-wings, in addition to being a different length, so you don't have to worry about mixing them up. Full disclosure, I did that once with a different controller, and I was wondering, oh, why is the screw not working with me. Oh, it's the wrong kind of screw. Anyway, this guy just comes right off. Now, do be careful. This is also connected by ribbon cable, so that's fine. Okay, you know what? Let's just let's clear a little space here. Don't want to lose those screws. We do have replacements for the tri-wing, not the Phillips, unfortunately. So, you know, it may actually be a best practice to just pull this out. It's not hard to put back in, like I said. It's not screwed in or anything. Just pull it out, set it off to the side. No problem. Now, first things first, in order to get to this guy, we're going to have to unscrew it here and here. Now, this, theoretically, you could try to push this ribbon cable off to the side, but that's not really a good practice to do it that way. You may damage it. And replacing a ribbon cable, let me tell you, would be a lot more unpleasant than replacing the Joy-Con. So, we're going to just remove it. No problem. It's very easy to do. So, just take a fingernail, or, you know, a tweezer if you prefer. We're going to start with this guy right here, because this guy is blocking this screw we need right here. So, this gray tab, it's going to hinge up just like this. Sorry, you can't really see my fingers in the way, but it'll flip up just like that. Easy enough. Now, you can just pull it out gently, and it should, no need to force it, it should just pop out just like that. Sorry, my hand was kind of, it's a little tricky to do this on camera. So, now that that's disconnected, we can get at these two screws. But first things first, we should probably disconnect the ribbon cable. So, if you look right here, this black tab, this is the one that we want to flip in order to disconnect the joystick. So, again, just a simple fingernail. Don't really need much force. Just flip it up. Okay, easy enough. Now, for this particular Joy-Con, well, no, you could just put this off to the side here to get at it. I was going to say you could just use tweezers if your fingers are a little larger, but it's not impossible to do. Hopefully it's not too hard to plug this back in. The nice thing about these joysticks is the left side and the right side are both the exact same component. So you don't have to worry like, oh, should I buy the left one or the right one? They're the same. That being said, it's actually a little easier. It's a little more work to get to the joystick on the right controller. But it is a little easier to disconnect it. So it's a little tricky going from this angle. Hopefully I don't have to run and grab some tweezers, but I think I may have to do that. You know what? Actually, here, we can just do it like this. This probably isn't good for ESD, but yeah, if you have tweezers, definitely use the tweezers. I'm not trying to waste a bunch of people's time here, so we're just gonna go the quick route. Hopefully it won't be too much of a pain to get back in there. Alright, lastly, you want to just put a finger there. So, just like I said, two screws, nice and easy. One. And two. Okay, so just a quick sanity check. You should have 4 tri-wings off to the side and 3 Phillips head. If you have less than that, then you may have misplaced one. If you have more, well, I don't know what to tell you. Anyways, so this guy should pop out nice and easy. There's a little plastic piece. between there. Hopefully the light can catch that. It's a little tricky to see. But this should pretty easily just pop through. Just be careful. Easy. There it is. Now, we've successfully removed the drifting joystick. Like I said, I already replaced this, so this is my replacement. We're going to be putting this one back. Yours should look like this with a blue ribbon. So if yours doesn't look like this, don't worry, you didn't get gypped by Nintendo. This is what your replacement most likely will look like. So let's put it back together. So it's essentially just the inverse of what we just did. You stick the joystick really gently back in here. It helps to go at a little bit of an angle, just through that plastic guide. And you want to be careful of the ribbon cable. There we go. It'll sit right in there. Okay, everything's lined up. So first things first, let's see if we can get this ribbon cable back in here without having to grab tweezers. Actually, you know what we could do? We could just flip this out, have a little bit more space to work. Okay, so actually, I think on the left side, if you don't have a good set of tweezers, start with the ribbon cable before you put the joystick back in. Slide it in there. Should be relatively painless. Once it looks like it's nice and snug in there, flip this tab back down. Easy. Alright. That looks like it's connected. Alright, now we can just gently just put that back in there. Again, be careful of this ribbon cable, because this has to go over this screw. Now, like I said, it's only on the left when you have this issue. The right side has a few anomalies, but it's nothing anybody couldn't handle. Easy enough. So, first things first, let's grab the first Phillips head. It's nice that there's no tri-wings on the interior. They're all uniform screws. There's a couple tri-wings on the inside of a Game Boy Advance, which is not my favorite to deal with because they're not really in obvious places where you'd expect them to be. But that's another topic. Alright, one screw down. Let's get the second one. Nice and easy. Now, you don't want to tie these too tightly because, well, there's a lot of plastic in here. And additionally to the screws that may strip, the plastic can also strip. And that's not fun. And you'd have a loose controller, and nobody likes that. Alright. Now, let's get this ribbon cable that we just disconnected to get at that screw. Let's get him plugged back in. Now, a brief note, some of these tabs may fall back down because they're actually held in place by the friction between the actual ribbon cable. Like, it's basically pinching the ribbon cable is how it works. So sometimes they'll flip down. They should flip back up without too much trouble. They should be pretty loose. And that's fine. They're supposed to be loose when there's no ribbon cable in. So flips up nice and easy. So you just convince this guy back in here. Come on. Alright. Alright, now he's in. Just flip the top back over. Easy. Right on. Everything, every ribbon cable is back together. Now we can just, oh, very important. Don't forget to put your left trigger back in. If you forget, then you'll have to take everything apart because it's not something you can do after the fact. So, this guy attaches pretty easily. He just sits right on there. Sorry if the camera's getting out of focus. It's a little tricky. There we go. The spring's just gonna sit right on there. You want to get the tip right in here. You want it sitting on the inside edge here. Start with that. Get the spring in there. Now on the bottom half, it doesn't. Actually, yeah, it should sit right in there. Now it is going to be loose, so just be careful. Oh, what happened to my music? Sorry about that. That's a little better. All right, now again, be super careful. Don't do what I just did. So what do we have left? We've got these 3 pieces. This is sitting loosely in here. This guy should flip right back over. Actually, I'm sorry, not really flip, but kind of just right back over like that. Just like this. And it helps if you remembered where the screws are, where you put them in the beginning. Alright. A little bit of patience and this should slide right back in. You know what? I think I made a mistake. Sorry. It goes around the other side. So this ribbon cable should be on the outside edge. So you want to be careful how you flip that. It could be on the other side. Now that it's like this, it should go in relatively easy. Should go underneath, just like that. Now, if it folds a little bit, that's fine. You don't want to be like, really doing any origami on these guys, but there. Just quick sanity check. Everything looks like it's pretty clean in there. I don't see any pinching at the moment, so that's good. And that is where our last Phillips head goes. Screw that guy in there. Nice and easy again, because everything in here that these are screwing into are plastic, and plastic strips very easily. It's like butter. It's like cutting through butter on these some of these screws. Anyways, lastly and importantly, don't forget to put the power back in. So it should go in pretty easy. A lot easier than we pulled it out, actually. So like I said, watch where the teeth are, and the teeth should fit into these 2 slats right here. There you go. You see the teeth there, so these would go on the bottom just like that. So just apply a little bit of pressure with a finger. It's a little tricky to get in there. Come on, there we go. Should hear a little click. Just a nice. If you hear a loud click, then something probably broke. All right. Now, as you can see here, there's a little bit of a opening. That's for the cable. So this guy, as opposed to being like that, he flips around like that. Nice and easy. Perfect. Man, Nintendo did a really good job designing these. Very efficient use of space. So, lastly, you want to just fold this guy over the top. Again, these ribbon cables, as you can see, there's already creases in them. That's kind of just how they came. It's the nice thing about ribbon cables, they're very easy to, because they're flat, they're very easy to fold and put in all kinds of different places. A quick note on the left Joy-Con, I didn't have this issue with the right one, but this, as you can see, it's popping out a little bit. Just make sure that you kind of pinch it. It shouldn't shoot out, this guy, even though it has a spring on it, but just something to keep in mind in case it does come out. But it's supposed to be that way. Again, a little different on the right side. So, just carefully follow the guides on the inside here. You shouldn't see any ugly bits hanging out. like this inside piece here. That should fit nicely on the inside lip. Okay, and it should click. Nice. All right, so just a quick sanity check. We're gonna push a button. We see lights. That's a good sign. That means our power source is working. Right on. All right, let's get these last 4 tri-wings in here. 1. And as with most things, it's best to try to go in a star-shaped pattern with these, just to ensure that there's even pressure across all the points. Again, you saw that the controller clicks into place relatively easily, so you don't really have to put too much force on these. Screwing them back in, they just need to be. That one's being a little stubborn. They just need to be all the way in. No need to put the death grip on them. Alright, that's good. Alright, so we did that one. Now we're gonna go here. Nice and easy. Okay, back across to here. Almost there. Now the last thing you want to do, which I won't include in this video, just because it'd be a little tricky to set up the capture card right now, just to do a check. But this will work. It's a really easy. This is one of the more simple repairs that you can do. There's no soldering or anything involved. So what I would do lastly is I would want to make sure that your power is working. Turn on your Nintendo Switch, go and just play around with it, and you should see that, first of all, you should see that an improvement on the drift. I know I have with these replacements. They are really nice. And it should work pretty smoothly. It should kind of just, as you're using it in the game or in the system, it should be picking up all the sides. If not, you may have one of your ribbon cables may not be plugged in all the way. So that could be a reason. I think it would be, if I had to guess, probably less than a 1% chance that you got a faulty joystick out of the box, but that is always a possibility. A brief note on the new joysticks. Now, maybe this is just because it's a different part, or because it's newer. I've noticed that this here. I'll put it close to the mic so you guys can hear it. This is a bit clickier than the original. So this is the original. This is the new one. I personally kind of like it. It's a little bit more. It feels a little bit more robust. It actually feels a little closer to the clickiness of these almost. Maybe, I don't know. That's a matter of opinion. But that's how to do the joystick replace. It's super easy. It's very, very similar for the other side. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was educational and, at the very least, somewhat relaxing. I'm just working on some electronics during the quarantine. So if you like the content, leave me a like, comment, subscribe if you like. Hopefully we'll be doing more of this kind of stuff. Check out some other of my videos. Stay healthy, wash your hands, don't touch your face. Don't touch other people's faces, you know? Don't forget, yeah. I don't have anything else to say. Anyways, take it easy.